Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Anthony Davis happy to have LeBron James back, bringing energy to Lakers. Even after the extended break last week, LeBron James was still held out of the Los Angeles Lakers' loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves because of foot soreness and personal reasons. Fortunately for the Lakers, James didn't miss any more time afterward as he was available for their matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. Having James back on the floor allowed head coach J.J. Redick to go back to a more normal rotation, and it led to Los Angeles's best defensive performance of the 2024-25 season. The Lakers beat the Grizzlies 116-110, and they did it behind a strong defensive showing from everyone who saw the floor. Anthony Davis detailed how James was able to contribute on that end of the floor and what it did for the rest of the group. Vocal leader. When he's there, whether I'm in coverage or going to pick and roll, he's on that back line and kind of directing traffic to everyone, calling our coverages and our schemes and what we're supposed to be doing, Davis explained. So it's good to have him back from that standpoint. It's good to have him back in terms of size, to help with rebounding and guarding the paint. However, Davis also noted the effect James had in the first quarter with the energy and activity level he brought. He had a week off. Had some energy, which kind of brought energy to us. He's obviously dealing with some stuff, but take a week off and kind of let him heal and get back right, and came out with a ton of energy, which kind of got us going in the first quarter. James himself noted he felt pretty good in his first game back from his time off, and it showed as he was much more explosive and spry than usual. As he nears his 40th birthday, James can't be expected to go full throttle in the middle of the regular season, but it goes to show what he can do with a little extra rest. While James has previously expressed his desire to play all 82 games, it's not sustainable and would be a detriment to his overall health. The expectation now is for the Lakers and James to work together to manage his rest and take games off when needed. While LeBron James was able to return, he stressed that his foot injury isn't behind him and is something he and the Lakers will have to manage the rest of the way. LeBron James and Anthony Davis could become angry if Lakers don't make a move before trade deadline. Lakers insider Jovan Buha believes LeBron James and Anthony Davis wouldn't be too pleased if the team fails to make a trade before the deadline this season. The Los Angeles Lakers did not make any trades before the deadline last season, and if they do that again this time, insider Jovan Buha thinks they might be in trouble. During a Q&A session on YouTube, Buha was asked what would happen if the Lakers didn't make a trade, and he believes LeBron James and Anthony Davis wouldn't be happy. I don't think LeBron and AD are going to be happy, and at that point, they can't ask out, Buha said. In this scenario, we're going with hypothetical here. I think it depends on how the rest of the season plays out, and can they somehow go on a run and maybe exceed expectations, and maybe that kind of quells some of the frustration or anger from not making a move. Otherwise, I think that opens up the possibility for some bigger changes in the offseason. James and Davis would be unable to do anything about it this season, but they could very well explore their options in the summer. If things do pan out in that manner, no one should blame them for that either. The Lakers had to make some moves at the deadline last season, but opted against it and were promptly knocked out of the playoffs in the first round by the Denver Nuggets. If they are inactive again, another early postseason exit would be on the cards. Buha stated that a great playoff run might quell some of the anger and frustration, but it might actually add to it. If the Lakers somehow make it to the Western Conference Finals and lose, James and Davis would be left wondering what might have been had they just made some moves. They both aren't spring chickens anymore and would want to be on a team that would maximize their chances of winning while they're still playing well. James, who is averaging 22.8 points, 8.0 rebounds, 9.1 assists, 0.7 steals, and 0.6 blocks per game in 2024-25, would find it a lot easier to head to the exit door than his co-star. The 39-year-old has a player option worth $52.6 million for 2025 to 26 and could opt out to hit free agency in 2025. James could also opt in and look into joining a contending team via a trade, and the Lakers would most likely acquiesce if he asks out. If he does ask for a move, a whole host of teams would be knocking on LA's door. We listed out every NBA team's best trade package for James, and there are some intriguing scenarios in there. As for Davis, he is under contract through 2027 to 28 but does have a $62.7 million player option for that last season. The Lakers would be more reluctant to part with the big man, who is averaging 27.8 points, 11.4 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.2 steals, and 2.0 blocks per game, but if he does ask out, they are unlikely to stand in his way. We put together a blockbuster trade that sees Davis end up with the San Antonio Spurs to bring back the Twin Towers. Of course, the Lakers can avoid this potential scenario by making a trade before the deadline and improving the roster. The Lakers have been linked with a host of players, and if they are able to bring in one or two of them, then James and Davis are unlikely to even consider wanting out. The two stars will be in action next when the Lakers take on the Sacramento Kings at Golden One Center on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. They won the first meeting between these sides this season 131-127 and would be hoping for a repeat. Lakers news: Bronny's time to shine, All-Star format revealed, Kings back-to-back. Isn't it amazing how many times an NBA team's fortunes can change in a single season? The Los Angeles Lakers are only 26 games into their 82-game schedule, and already they've vacillated between looking like a true contender and looking like a team that might not even make the play-in. The last couple of weeks have not been kind to the purple and gold, as they lost 7 out of 10 games at one point. The team's offense, which had seemed so potent early in the year, has stagnated, and the defense, well, the defense has remained pretty bad since day one. Lakers fans have been despairing over their team's recent skid, but there are signs that J.J. Redick's bunch may be coming out of its funk. The team has come out on the other side of injuries to LeBron James and Austin Reeves, still above .500 and in the thick of the playoff race, and with wins over the Blazers and Grizzlies bookending a tough but forgivable road loss at the Timberwolves. It appears that if the Lakers' car hasn't quite hit top gear yet, it's at least pulling out of its tailspin. After 2 weeks of consistently being inundated with nothing but bad news, this counts as progress, so Lakers fans will take it. The past is the past, though, so let's get into the news of the week. ESPN's NBA insider Shams Charania reported on Monday that Bronny James will be playing in the G League Winter Showcase this week in Orlando. Most basketball fans would have decried this news a week or two ago as a cheap marketing ploy by the league, and another example of nepotism taking center stage, but even Bronny haters have to acknowledge that the kid has been playing some good basketball lately. Bronny is averaging over 20 points in his last 3 games with the South Bay Lakers, a marked improvement over his first 2 games, in which he scored just 10 total points. Bronny's performance against the Valley Suns on Thursday was the highlight of the bunch, and by far his best game as a pro. He scored a career-high 30 points on 13-23 shooting, while also pitching in 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal and 1 block. Even more encouraging is that since turning the ball over 5 times in his G League debut, he now has just 4 turnovers in his next 4 games combined. The Winter Showcase is one of the best chances for the G League's top players to stand out, as scouts from every NBA team will be in attendance. Not that Bronny is going anywhere, of course. Details began to leak about proposed changes to the NBA All-Star Game format in recent weeks, and on Tuesday, the league finally let the cat out of the bag. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver seemed embarrassed after the reception to last year's All-Star Game, which took the game's infamous lack of defense to new lows. Fans aren't interested in watching the best basketball players in the world give zero effort, so it's no surprise that the league finally made some changes. This is going to be interesting, and a huge departure from what the game used to be. Of note is the fact that one of the teams will be made up of the winner of the Rising Stars game between NBA rookies and second-year players, which leaves open the hilarious possibility that the All-Star Game MVP could be someone that wasn't an All-Star. This move also puts the crew of Inside the NBA to the forefront. Pour one out for Ernie Johnson, who won't get to captain a team, which is a smart move not only because the show is so beloved, but because it can serve as a reminder to fans that may have missed the memo that Inside the NBA will in fact not be disappearing when TNT loses its NBA rights next year, but will instead be moving to ESPN. The addition of having a draft instead of a straight East versus West showdown has been a fun wrinkle since it was implemented in 2018, and it's a good move for the NBA to bring it back after a one-year hiatus. Having team captains who aren't afraid to have fun with their draftees will only help. In the end, these changes will only move the needle if the games themselves are competitive. Let's hope that they will be. The Lakers' next two games are on Thursday and Saturday, and interestingly, both contests are road matchups with the Sacramento Kings. This is the first of only 2 times that the Lakers will play the same team twice on the road in consecutive games, with the other being in early April set at Oklahoma City. These two teams last met way back on October 26 in what was just the Lakers' third game of the season. LA prevailed in a 131-127 shootout that featured a LeBron James 32-point triple-double to move to 3-0 and continue the good vibes of J.J. Redick's debut as head coach. The Lakers need to hope that game was a sign of things to come in this rivalry, because last year, the Kings owned them. De'Aaron Fox and company swept the season series 4-0 while putting up at least 120 points in each game. The 127 points the Kings scored in the team's first meeting this season shows that the Lakers still don't have an answer defensively, but they were still able to escape due to their own offensive explosion. LA's offensive rating has plummeted in recent weeks though, so Lakers fans will need to hope that Anthony Davis and LeBron are ready to put up some points again. Lakers insider identifies big indicator of LeBron's decline that he's noticed this season. Los Angeles Lakers insider Jovan Buha has noticed that superstar LeBron James is calling out of games more often than previous seasons in the 2024-25 campaign. James, who will turn 40 years old this month, is averaging 35.0 minutes per game in the 2024-25 season and has appeared in 24 of the Lakers' 26 games. The 4-time champion missed 2 games in a row, against the Portland Trail Blazers and Minnesota Timberwolves, before returning on Sunday to face the Memphis Grizzlies. James had a strong game against Memphis, helping lead the Lakers to a win. Los Angeles is now 14-12 on the season and holds the number 10 seed in the Western Conference. On Sunday, James finished with 18 points on 7 of 17 shooting, 3-4-6 from 3, while adding 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal and 2 blocks for the Lakers in the win. While the 20-time All-Star may not be the same player he once was, James can still be a dominant player at the NBA level. This season, he's averaging 22.8 points, 8.0 rebounds, and 9.1 assists per game while shooting 49.2% from the field and 36.5% from beyond the arc. In addition to those numbers, James has 7 triple-doubles this season, showing that he can still impact the game across the board even at his age. The last 2 seasons, the Lakers have made the playoffs by way of the play-in tournament, but James, Anthony Davis and company would love to earn a top 6 seed and avoid the play-in this season. However, the Lakers may need to balance how much they're willing to play James to get into the postseason with him being healthy. If the 20-time All-Star needs more games off or more frequent breaks, the Lakers may need to oblige in order to keep him in peak shape for the postseason. James and the Lakers will be back in action on Thursday, December 19 against the Sacramento Kings. That matchup will be the first of 2 straight games for Los Angeles on the road against Sacramento. The Lakers are just 5-9 in their 14 road games so far this season. Alarming stat LeBron James must correct if Lakers hope to contend in 2024-25. LeBron James continues to produce at a level that exceeds anything the NBA has seen from a player who's soon to turn 40. It's an unavoidable truth that Los Angeles Lakers fans are as aware of as anyone, as James has defied the odds to flirt with a nightly triple-double in his 22nd season. Unfortunately, one statistic encompasses the harsh reality of how James' statistically brilliant season on offense has been all but entirely offset by his uncharacteristically dreadful play on defense. James has produced an otherworldly collection of averages, whether he's 39 or not. Through 24 appearances, he's averaging 22.8 points, 9.1 assists, 8.0 rebounds, and 2.1 three-point field goals made on an efficient slash line of .492/.365/.743. James is on pace to join Luka Doncic as the only players in NBA history to average at least 22.0 points, 9.0 assists, 8.0 rebounds, and 2.0 threes per game in multiple seasons. For as impressive as that may be, James' struggles on defense have all but neutralized his offensive value. It's perhaps a reach to question his effort, but the results of what he's put forth have thus far been wildly disappointing. That all begins with the alarming statistic that the Lakers are allowing 11.3 fewer points per 100 possessions when James isn't on the court. Lakers allowing 11.3 fewer points when LeBron James is on the bench. Thus far in 2024-25, the Lakers are allowing 117.5 points per 100 possessions when James is on the floor. That's, far and away, the worst mark of any player on the roster who has spent at least 65 minutes on the court this season. When James is off the court, the Lakers are allowing 106.2 points per 100 possessions, easily the lowest tally for any player who has spent at least 65 minutes on the court this season. The 11.3-point difference is reason enough to sound the alarms and question what the best path forward is. The more concerning element of the numbers, however, is the fact that the Lakers are at their worst on defense when James is present and at their best when he isn't. It feels wrong to even write this sentence, but James has effectively become a net negative, and the numbers support that statement. In addition to the massive swing of points on defense, Los Angeles has been significantly better overall without James than with him. They're being outscored by 8.2 points per 100 possessions when he's on the court, which trails only Max Christie for the worst mark of any Laker who has played at least 65 minutes. Conversely, the Lakers are outscoring opponents by 3.4 points per 100 possessions when James isn't on the court, the highest off-court point differential on the team. Perhaps James' recent time away from the team will provide him with the opportunity to refresh and gain a different perspective that facilitates improvement. He certainly looked solid in his return to the court, posting 18 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal in a 116-110 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. If the Lakers are going to right the ship and become the contenders they're capable of being, however, then James will need to become a consistent source of at least adequate defense. Lakers' $160 million trade target gets new asking price, report. Lakers GM Rob Pelinka and head coach J.J. Redick answer questions during a press conference. The asking price for Portland Trail Blazers forward Jerami Grant, one of the Los Angeles Lakers' reported trade targets, has been lowered, according to Forbes' Evan Sidery. Portland would be willing to part with Grant for one first-round pick and a promising prospect instead of 2 future first-round selections, Sidery wrote in a post on X. Sean Highkin of the Rose Garden Report reported in July that the Blazers were asking for the Lakers' 2029 and 2031 first-round draft picks. But if the Trail Blazers lower their asking price to a package built around one of the Lakers' first-round picks and Rui Hachimura, then a deal could be made, according to Highkin. Former LA Daily reporter Anthony Irwin, now with Clutch Points, reported that the Lakers were unwilling to meet Portland's demand for Grant because of 2 factors. League sources cite his contract and potential reluctance to take on a lesser role on a winning team as concerns for why the Lakers and other teams haven't wanted to meet that price, Irwin wrote at the time. The 30-year-old Grant is entering the second season of a 5-year deal worth $160 million with a $36.4 million player option for the 2027-28 season. Grant is averaging 16.1 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2.3 assists in the Trail Blazers' first 24 games, his lowest production since he left Denver in 2020. Despite getting lost in the shuffle amid Portland's rebuilding this season, the 6'7" forward is still shooting a solid 38.4% on 6.6 three-point attempts. As the Lakers stumbled to 10th place in the West with a 14-12 record following a strong 10-4 start, perimeter defense, three-point shooting and rebounding have continued to plague this roster dating back to last season. The Lakers are ranked 24th in defensive rating, 25th in three-pointers made and 27th in rebounding after 26 games. They are looking to address these issues heading into the February 6 trade deadline. According to Jovan Buha of The Athletic, the Lakers have been eyeing a tough, physical, defensive-minded center, a big 3-and-D wing who complements Anthony Davis and LeBron James as a starter/closer and a big, quick, athletic guard with point-of-attack defensive capabilities. Grant fits the big 3-and-D wing role. Buha linked Grant among the 3-and-D wings available in the trade market for the Lakers, alongside Washington Wizards' Kyle Kuzma, who previously played with the team, and Brooklyn Nets pair of Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. Jerami Grant is an expensive third option. A Western Conference rival executive has warned the Lakers in the offseason amid the news of their pursuit of Grant. Jerami Grant can play, he is a shooter, he is a good, active defender when he is engaged, he is going to do a lot of things that help your team, the league executive told Heavy's Sean Devaney in July. But he is a third option. He has had some big numbers in the last few years, but he has done it on terrible teams. No one is going to make a big trade for a guy who gives you 20 points on a bad team and 13 points on a good one. Not with his contract. He is going to make $30 million next year and $32 million the year after that. Then he has 2 more years. You can't pay your third option $35 million. The Lakers have been reluctant to move their draft picks since the last trade deadline. We're going to always be aggressive to trying to make roster upgrades and we'll be relentless to continue to look at what we can do, Pelinka told reporters in July. If the right deal comes and we have to put in draft picks, we will. But the Lakers' 4-8 record over their last 12 games saw their title odds dive to 10th, per Bovada, which also offers online casino bonus like Joe Fortune Club, at plus 2,800. With the Lakers hobbling to the play-in picture after a quarter of the season, it's hard to see Pelinka softening his stance. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jerami Grant? Leave your opinion in the comments.